Yes, sir. You're audible.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. So today's session is a live session plus queries. Okay, and we will focus on weeks 5, 6, and 7. So the syllabus for quiz 2 is weeks 1 to 7, but more focused on weeks 5, 6, and 7. And so hence we'll do the revision for weeks 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so let's start. I think people are still joining, but we can start with command line editors as of now. So basically, you would have already observed that there are a lot of editors, and we are mostly focused on VI and Emacs. So if there are any questions in quiz or final exam related to editor, you will get the an option to either answer VI editor question or Emacs editor question. So it's on the same lines as we did for the assignments. You pick one editor, either VI or Emacs, and keep practicing that. Okay. So what we have discussed previously, let's start with that. Now, so there are 4 types of editors. This is not the exhaustive list, just we have divided editors in 4 types. So line editors are add and X. You may, and like there are very old editors, so that won't be our focus. Pico and Nano are terminal editors, the simplest ones. And Nano is an editor that is with almost all Linux. So that is the one advantage of Nano. Otherwise, you have better features in VI and Emacs. So these two are also terminal editors. So Emacs is not just a terminal editor; it has both. It has a GUI, and it can be used on terminal both. But the older version of Emacs, initially it was terminal only. That's why we have kept it in terminal editors category. Then GUI editors, gedit, atom. So these are common ones that you would have seen on Linux. So these are similar to Notepad, what you would have observed in your Windows machine. And then IDEs are also editor, but same as GUI editors, but with a lot of features focused on something. So these, the ones mentioned here, are focused on programming. Okay, Eclipse, Bluefish, NetBeans. Now, why do we need editors? Is like you have some text, you want to read that, and you don't want to you should have a lot of features to scroll it and search in it and navigate through the file, and you should be able to search, replace. So all these are the features that you would want in any editor. Okay, so now these language aware syntax highlighting is available in our terminal editors also. So you would have, when you are writing shell script on in VI, you would have observed that conditional statements are colored differently. Comments are colored differently, so that you can easily observe that. Okay, and then there are a lot of key maps and macros, and in VI you can add a lot of plugins. One example of a plugin I think I have discussed in one of the sessions earlier is cscope. Cscope is used for like viewing all files and navigating through the different parts of a project, code project in some language. Okay, so generally C scope is used for C, C++. So these are the basic editors. Let's not focus on these. Let's go directly to VI. So those of you who who are interested in VI, so there are three modes in it. One is command mode, one is insert mode, and one is execution mode. So to enter into command mode, you need to press escape, and after pressing escape, there are a lot of commands you can use to navigate to um, like navigate or scroll the file. Okay, in insert mode, either you can enter through the keywords mentioned here, IOA, and in this, if you want to add something into the file, some text, you go into insert mode and do that. In execution mode, so there are a lot of commands available. For example, if you want to replace every instance of some text X with Y, so for that you will have to enter command mode and write a command. And there are other commands also. If you want to, one example we have used is in if you guys remember, one example was in our practice assignment or grade assignment, where we asked you to delete 8 lines. Okay, so for that also you can give one command in command mode. Okay, so any questions, anybody?
Sir, do we need to remember all the shortcuts and commands for a particular editor? Like I am using V editor.
No, you don't need to remember all, but if you would have practiced any one editor, you would remember basic ones, right?
Yeah,
Would you or
I
would you not?
remember. I remember basic ones, and I have practiced a lot with VI editor
Then that is fine.
because there are like more commands in the slides. So do we need to memorize them? That was my question.
No, not all. If you if you practice some of any one editor, you would be like uh, very well versed with some of the very commonly used commands. Okay,
Okay. And
so
sir,
yeah,
what about add and X editors?
you can skip them.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so in command mode, there are ways you can exit via editor with saving your changes, without saving your changes. Okay, so these are all listed here. Colon W to write out. Write out means save. Whatever you have edited, those changes will be written to the file. Okay. The colon X is similar to WQ, that is save and exit. Q is exit. So basically, you are combining save W and Q as quit. Okay. Now, what's the difference between the colon Q and colon Q and exclamation mark? So it's just that if you want to exit without saving, and if you haven't made any changes, colon Q will work well. But if you have made some changes, it will ask you that there are some changes if you want to exit or not. But in case of the last one, if you use exclamation along with it, it won't even ask. It is like force exit. Even if there are changes, just exit. Okay. And in VI editor, you can use either arrow keys or the ones mentioned on the right side. Okay, on this slide. Yeah. So if you have opened multiple screens, if you want to navigate your screen, so these are the commands. Like control plus F will scroll forward one screen, control plus B will scroll backward one screen. So these are all just go through them, and I don't want to invest a lot of time on these memorization things. We will like give more time to scripts, because in while revising we'll have to cover bash, awk, and sed also. Okay, so for moving around, you can use these commands. You can directly jump to the first line, the last line, and some place in the, if you want to skip to some character in the line, that also can be done. Like first character of the line, last character of the line. So all things can be done, and there are commands for this. Okay. Now, so these command in command mode, you can use these commands are the in just not just with a single letter will work. You have to write a complete command. Like you can give an a regular expression, and you can like give an expression, and whatever text matches that regex, and you can give another string that will be replaced. After replacement, that string will be yeah, the all the matches will be replaced by the string that you give. Okay, so in that you can, in this you can give options like the match should be case insensitive, or it should be case sensitive. And similarly, you can use other commands for deletion. Okay. So for copying and pasting also, so the control C and control V, like we are very much familiar to. So that doesn't work here. So for that we have different commands. For selection, we have some commands. You have to, if you want to select 4 lines just below your cursor, so you can give those commands also. Okay, and after that, after you have selected, you can use these commands for copying and pasting wherever you want. And similarly in Emacs also we have commands. For this, generally in Emacs, single letter commands are not used. We use the commands with control and alter. Okay, so you will find similar commands for Emacs, like to move one line up, one line down, one character right, one character left, and navigate jumping like last line, first line. So for all these commands, just you would already be aware of if you are practicing Emacs. If you have opted for Emacs and you are practicing Emacs, you will already be aware of these commands. Okay, so for copy paste also there are commands and similar to VI. So now let's move on to scripting, the one that we should focus more on. Okay, can you see the slides?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just a second, just give me a second. Okay, guys. Yeah. So this is about bash scripts. Like so, you can write other shell scripts also, but our course is focused on bash scripts. So whatever shell you are using, like on Mac or some other OS also, um, like logically 80-90% would be same. So if you learn this, and you will know the capabilities and you will know how to do things. Okay, so we'll focus on bash only. So in bash script, the first line that we use is hash exclamation, and then we give the path for the interpreter. Now, so this is not specific to bash. So this is for any, if you want to specify any interpreter while running the file, what interpreter to use, what program to use actually, okay, for running the file. So that is what we specify. That's hash and exclamation. Okay, let me share my screen and I will show you one example for this. Let me share my entire screen. Okay, so is the shell visible to you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so can you guys see what is the program or interpreter, whatever you want to call, mentioned for this file?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is. What is the program that we want to run this file with? Anybody? I'm just showing that we have executable permissions on this.
VI.
So what will happen if I run this file? Okay, let's first do one thing. If we give this file as an argument to bash command, what will happen? It will print 22. Okay. Now what will happen if I run this file? Anybody?
22.
Hello? Yeah, somebody said something.
It will print 22.
No, it won't print 22 because I have
VI is the path, not. Yeah.
see the content of the file. What is the first line? Hash and exclamation. That gives us tells the shell about the program this file should be executed with. Okay, so when I will run this, it will open in VI because that is the program. See, got it? You guys got it?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so now let's do one thing. Change it to /bin/bash. Now what did it do? It used bash for interpreting the file. So it was run as a bash script. Okay, so this is what the purpose of first line is. Not first line, sorry.
So when the first line was set to VI editor,
Yeah.
so through that execution, we could edit the file.
Yes.
Or access the file, the content of the file. Okay.
Whatever we give after hash exclamation, it gives the program which will be used to run the file. Okay.
If that has the capacity to run the file.
If that is a program, if that is a valid program.
Yes.
Okay. Now, why did this? Why in this case, when we give this command bash a.sh, the interpreter did not matter because we have given a.sh as an argument to bash program. So there bash is already there is a program for bash. We can use using this command also. Okay. So in this bash will execute a.sh irrespective of whatever you give as the interpreter. Got it? Then if you use hash and anything ahead of hash, that will be treated as comments and that won't be executed. Okay, so that's what in this slide it is mentioned here: shell, awk, set, python, ruby, perl. Instead of all these, I have used vi in my example. Okay, we could have used python also. Okay, so now so this is very simple thing that sir wanted to discuss, like what path you should give for executing the script. Okay, so now suppose this is it is for this shell script itself, a.sh. So currently it is in current working directory, so we can directly execute it. So suppose it was we come out here and now it is in a directory, one level inside this directory. That is, in current working directory we have revision, and in revision we have a.sh. So how will we run that? We have to give the relative path from here. Okay. Yeah. So relative path from here will be like this. Okay. Now how will you give absolute path? First you have to do this. Okay. Now what will be the absolute path? /home /uncle /division. Okay. So this is the absolute path. This command will run the script from any directory. Okay. Even if I come out from this directory and I run this will run, but not the other one where we gave the relative path. It won't run. So this is how relative and absolute paths are. And this is what relative absolute path means. Now, the other thing that the slide tells is that you can just add this a.sh to something, some location that is included in the path variable. So just copy it there. So suppose I want to copy it to user local bin. Now I copy this file. Let's move it. I need sudo permission for this. Okay. So now we have moved this file. Okay. And I think the executable permissions would already be there on this file. Now if I run this from anywhere, if I run this, it should run. So suppose we have created a new directory and we have moved to this directory. So a.sh is nowhere. No file is in this directory. Even then, if we run this, it will run. So this is what, this is how, if you want to run, if you have some program that you want to run every time, okay, you need that a lot of times, very frequently. Okay, so you can just copy that program to one of the paths included in the $path shell variable, environment variable actually. Yeah. So this is all technicals. Let's focus on our scripts. Now, these are the two commands that you can use for if you want to display anything on terminal, either echo or printf. In printf, you can use format specifiers like in C. So there are a lot of format specifiers. If somebody is aware of C, %s is for string, %d for integer, %f. You can also mention the length of the, in case of a floating variable, floating number, you can also mention like till how many digits after the point decimal you want the numbers to be printed. So that all can be specified. Okay, and then from reading something from the terminal, you use the read command, and var is the name of the variable. You can use any variable name. Okay, and it will be set. For example, read gg. So our variable name will be gg, and what do we want to give input to this variable? Suppose we want to give some string std. Now there is this variable created gg and the content is std. So this is how read works. Now in shell script, when you run the script, at that time the command line arguments and other arguments, how can you access them, and what does that mean? So this all can be used using the predefined variables, that is $0, $1. Okay, so $0 will give the name of the script always. The name of the script will be always set as $0. and the first argument will be $1, second $2, and if you want to fetch the number of arguments, it will be $hash. Okay. Now, why do we want to include brackets in $11? Because this is in this, how would the interpreter know that $11 does not mean first argument and 1? Okay. How would it know? So for that, we'll have to use curly braces. Let me give you an example. These all things, okay. Our syntax highlighting is already doing a lot of explanation to us. Okay. So now you understood why $11 this is different than, because how would interpreter know what you want to specify? Suppose you want to specify first argument and the value 1 after that, then you can use this. Okay. So that's why interpreter won't read it as $11. It will read it as $1 then 1. So if you want to specify 11th argument, you have to use curly braces around it. Okay. Because interpreter is not so intelligent. Whatever is programmed, it is programmed. Now suppose you run it as okay, let's give different. 11th argument will be 11. Okay. And first argument, let's change it to first. Okay. So now you got it. When we used without curly braces, it printed $1 as first and then the value 1. Okay. So this is why we have to use the curly braces. Then $star or $@ will give you all arguments, and you can use this in the for loop to iterate over all the arguments. But there is a difference. $star will give you all arguments as a single string. Then you may have to use some field separator, and you can use cut command or some other way to separate all the fields. But if you want to actually iterate, the better to use $@ and it will give all the arguments as a one string, as an array of strings, you can assume. Now command substitution means if you want the output of some command in a variable, you can do either with two ways. So one is the one in the above is back quotes. It's not single quotes. Okay. So in single quotes, in bash, single quotes is treated very differently than back quotes. Back quotes is used for execution of command. Either you can use that back quotes or dollar and single brackets. Okay. So then if you want to use some loop, if you want to do some task again and again, you can use a for loop. In this for this is one way of giving for the writing a for loop. There are other ways we will see in some time. Okay. So what does this loop means is for all the variables in the list, one by one, do whatever the command you have specified, do that. Okay. For all the items in the list. And to access the item, you will use the variable var. You can use any variable. Now, so case statement is so have we discussed if? No, we have not discussed if. So let's first discuss if, then we'll come to case statement. So if you want to execute something conditionally, that if something is true, do this. If something is not true, do something else. Then you can use a if condition, and there's a if else condition also. You can use if condition singly, or you can use if else, You can also use if else if. Should I show this if else conditions, or you
Yes,
guys
sir.
are okay?
No, yes. Can you show, sir?
Okay, let's see this.
So there's one question, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, if we leave space while giving this equals to 1,
Yeah.
so what would will happen? Is it show some error or?
Yeah, it shows some error. Generally, what I have encountered.
Okay.
Okay. So if dollar flag then equal true, else equal false, and fi. Command not found. Is there some typo? Anyway, let's see which line it is showing. Okay.
Why do we need to give a space after opening the bracket?
Where? Here? I think it won't
Yes.
matter.
It matters, I have observed, if we
Okay,
don't
it
give
matters.
a space.
So these are all like interpreters, right? Right. So the way interpreters are coded, and these are very old ones. So they have iteratively
Okay, so basically we need to remember this. Okay.
so there's no reason for why do you need, this is a language, right? This is some
No, no.
sort of language.
I mean,
No,
suppose,
understand this, that if you have given something, some logic for some language, then this is how the interpreter is written to interpret the code. That's why you have to give space. And it's not just they wanted some space, so they have introduced a space. So sometimes what happens is, just an example I have given you before of $11. Okay, how will you different, how will the interpreter is not an intelligent person. How will interpreter differentiate between two things? So this bracket is not just used with for condition. This is used for at a lot of places, right? So if you want to print this bracket sometimes, or if you want to use special characters, you have to escape those characters. So slash is used for escaping. So these are all things designed because there are multiple usage of some characters. So to interpret and to differentiate between the usages, these things are designed the way they are.
yes, why? Because this is a requirement particularly with if condition only, not elsewhere. That's it. It's okay, thank you.
So what does square bracket do here?
It evaluates the condition.
Why can't we write this dollar flag only?
So it is the syntax of if.
Well, I don't get like the square bracket part.
No, so that's what I'm saying. Don't go into the syntax thing. Why syntax is required as such? Why is it named fi? Okay. So initially when I started learning Bash, I was very much confused that why fi. In some languages, you just use curly braces for starting and ending. So they have designed it in such a way that fi is used to know that if condition is ending at this place. Okay, so this is how things are designed, and this is syntax. It doesn't have to do anything with the logic that you can perform using that syntax.
So if we need to write a variable name, then we need to use square brackets and if condition, right?
Yes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is how if condition can be used. Now, okay, let's do one thing. Let's make it 0. So the if condition that we are using, it is only just it is just checking if the variable is set or not, I think. Let me check it once again. Yeah. So that condition is only just checking that if our variable is set or not. So
Because
if it
you
is
are
not set,
passing that, because sir, you are passing that variable to evaluate as an expression in the
yes,
square brackets.
yes, we are not comparing it with anything. Okay. Yeah. So this is how if condition is. Now suppose if you want to do something that involves a lot of if condition. Okay. Now suppose if you are comparing a number, if it is equal to 1, equal to 2, equal to 3, instead of directly this, if we are using something as equal to 1, equal to 2. Okay, if it is equal to 1, print Monday, and if it is equal to 2, print Tuesday. If it so, how many if conditions will you have to write? You will have to write a lot of if else conditions. Okay, if else if. Now instead of that, we have a case statement that you can, if you want to compare the same variable again and again with different values, we can use case statement. In this case statement, uh, this variable will be compared with different values, and you can mention you can give a lot of different values to be compared with. Okay, one after another. So in this case statement, it is not mentioned for default. Let's go to the next slides. There we will get to know what is it for the default value when none of the value matches. Okay, so this is just I think these slides are an overview. So so for conditions, you can use a lot of different conditions like single square brackets and double square brackets. Now you guys would be confused in single and double also. So there's nothing too much logical about it. So it is so the double square brackets are POSIX notation, and these are available for Bash and some other shells like KSH or KSH, I think. But the initial thing designed was with single square brackets. There you can't the double square brackets have better capability. So either so what I would recommend is uh, you practice one of it and stick to it so that you don't get confused. Okay, because for using some of the conditional like operators in a single square brackets, you will have to use a escape character, that is the backslash. Okay, but in double square brackets you don't have to, for less than sign. Suppose if you want to compare two variables, one is less than another, you can directly use the less than symbol in double square brackets, but not in the single one. Okay, you can use double brackets for evaluating the expression also. You can also give a command and see if it succeeds. If it succeeds, then if condition will be evaluated too. Okay, and pipeline is also is the same thing. It's a command, but pipeline. So there are more than one commands which are pipeline. Okay, and just before your condition, if you use exclamation symbol, it means negation. That if your expression evaluates to false. So there are different types of comparisons, and we'll see the operators going forward. So for numeric comparisons, either you can so these are the operators. This will work without any changes in single square brackets. Okay, but there are some that I was telling about. Those you will have to use with escape sequence in single square brackets. Okay, so you you have the options for comparing if it is equal to, greater than, less than, okay, or greater than, equal to, less than, equal to, not equal to. Then for string comparison, so in if you, the guys who are experienced with some programming language, you guys would be very much confused because of this. Say in programming languages, equal to, double equal to generally is used for numerical comparisons, and for string comparisons it is very, it is not exact string comparisons, it is something length comparison or something else. But here these symbols are used for string comparisons. Okay, and you can also use -n and -z for checking the length of the string. And these you can assume like these operators are replacement of some commands. So you can directly check if file exists you by using a -e, the option E, or you can use some commands or combination of commands to check this. Okay, so for file operations we have these for checking on file we have these operators. if you want to if you want to compare two files, we have two more operators, nt and ot. Okay, so this is comparing the updation date, last updation date of the files. Now similar to for, we have a while loop here. So in this so everything till now what I've observed is everything that you can do with a for loop you can always do it with a while loop. So it is just that initial programming languages had both of these. Even today, because of programmers' preferences, we have both of these loops almost in all programming languages that I have seen. And both of them will be able to replace each other in any of the codes. We can replace them somehow or the other. Okay. So in this while loop, we give the condition. If it evaluates to true, we will run the command, and we'll do this iteratively until the condition is true. Okay, so if you don't change anything related to condition, so this while loop is bound to enter into infinite loop. So suppose if you say that if you give some variable and set its value equal to 1 and check if its value is equal to 1 and so run these commands, and you don't change that the value of that variable inside the loop, so that condition will always evaluate to true, and it will always keep running the command. Okay, so this can happen in for loop also. Now until is just like using while with a not symbol, exclamation symbol. So do until this condition returns true. Okay, till it is false, keep on doing this. Now we can create functions. If you want to reuse some code, you can create a function, and running a function is very similar to running a script. Okay, function will have its own arguments. Like we have a $1, $2 for our scripts. Function can also have arguments as, and they can be used inside the function as $1, $2. We'll see that. Yes. So set -x option is good for your debugging, and it won't be required at all in our programming exams, because that doesn't make sense there. You can use that, but you will have to delete it before submitting your questions. Okay. And there are two ways you can print what the commands are doing. Either write set -x in your script, or you can just run your script with a using the bash command with -x option. Now we have seen that we have seen how to write the conditions and what operators can be used inside the conditions. Okay. Now what if you want to combine more than one conditions? Okay. So like if you want to, in this example, if you want to, so this example I don't let's change this for this discussion. Okay. So can anybody tell me what does the first condition mean?
It's checking if a variable is greater than 3 and less than 7.
Okay, so what numbers will be accepted for what values of a it will return to?
4, 5, 6.
Yes, 4, 5, 6. So just pay attention that we have seen the conditions there. There are less than equal different operators for less than equal to, and for less than it is different. Okay, so it is not less than equal to it, and this is also just greater than and less than. That's why 3 and 7 won't be accepted or won't return true. When the value of a is either 3 or 7, it won't return true. It will return true only in case of 4, 5, and 6. Okay. If you use and, what if in the same condition, if we use or? So, so firstly, understand what is and or. And means both the conditions should be true, or means either of one should be can be true. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what if we use in the same condition that we have specified above, we use or? What will happen? What does this mean?
Variable should be greater than 3 or it can be less than 7.
Yeah. So what does this, for what values of a this condition will be accepted?
Four,
All values.
All values. Correct. Okay. So these are the logical things that you should pay attention on. Okay. And this will help you develop your problem solving skills. Just leave aside the problems that you are facing in syntax. I still face problems in syntax with related to syntax. Whenever I start using some programming language again that I have not used since last 2-3 years or long time back I have used. Okay, but those doesn't create a lot of problems for you. You can just refer. There are a lot of references available for each programming language. You can just refer them and start using it. So these are the logical things that won't change in any programming language. So you should pay attention on these. Okay, guys. Yeah. So let me explain you this, why this will accept all the values of a. So this means either it should be less than 3 or it should be either it should be greater than 3 or it should be less than 7. So any value, either it will be less than 7, or if it is not less than 7, then it is greater than 7. That means it is always greater than 3.
Yeah.
You're getting it? That's why it will accept all the values of a. Okay. So
Okay.
you have been given how to use and or, but you should also know where to use and where to use or. If you want to use the range 4, 5, 6 only, then you will use and. Okay. Or means that, so generally in how the or is interpreted. So if the first condition becomes true, there's no need to check for second condition because it is or. So if you pass 4 here in the second condition, here if you pass 4 in this second condition, okay, so it is greater than 3, it will check for this this condition will be executed. The second will not be even checked because in case of or, interpreter knows that either of this condition needs to be true. So if one is true, then second need not be checked. You can check this with some command also. I think we can use this on terminal. Let me try that. I have not tried that. Yeah. So in case of our, can you see that one? So echo ABC, what will echo ABC return? There is no error in this command. So what will it return?
ABC.
No. Yeah, it will return ABC. But what will be the exit code for this? That is 0. That is true. Okay. That's why second command won't be executed in case we use OR. What if we use AND?
Then both will be executed.
Both will be executed because first one is true. Now suppose I use the same command. Instead of echo, I use something that is not recognized. So I think the first command will fail. In that case, second will be executed. Can you see?
Yeah, second will be executed. Second is here.
Second executed because first one is returning this.
Some
So
kind
first
of
one
error.
failed. First one failed. So in case this is how OR works. Okay. But in case of AND, it will be the other way around. So in case of AND, if the first command fails, we know that the second command need not be executed. Second command will not be executed. You get it? Here the second was printed. Here second is not printed.
Not printed. Yes.
Okay. So if you are able to understand this by this logic, it's good. If you don't understand by this logic, and if you are much aware of, and if you have studied this along with 1 and 0, like binary numbers, 1 or 0, what 1 or 0 gives, 1 and 1, what 1 and 1 gives. Okay. So you can understand with that also. 0 means false and 1 means true in case of binary. Here it is different. Okay. In case of command exit code, it's different. Anything other than 0 is treated as false. Got it?
Okay.
So now suppose if you reverse this, then the OR will make sense. What does this mean? Somebody else answer now. The one who answered all values other than that person. What will this condition give?
Either less than 3 or greater than 7.
What are the values of A that will be accepted? Some values, tell me.
1, 2, and then 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yes. So this is how it will work. Okay. Now, if you want to do some arithmetic operations, you will have to do if in case you are using working with numbers. So there are 4 ways. Sir has discussed this, that if you want to set some variable, so let can be used. Let is used only for setting some variable with some like arithmetic with the result of some arithmetic operation. So you can use either with quotes or without quotes. So again, here there is a strict use of spaces in case you use double quotes or in case you don't use double quotes. So it is this part of the syntax. If you use double quotes, you may or you may not use the spaces. But if you are not using double quotes, you cannot use spaces. This is how you have to use the let. Okay, so this is same way you assign some value to variable. Okay, so the other way is using single quotes with a dollar, single square brackets with a dollar.
I mean, sir,
yeah,
we just have to familiarize with one of these method, no? Or we have to remember all of them.
Better to use one of them extensively, and but I would recommend that you should EXPR has a lot of features. Okay, so some features in EXPR, I don't know if it would be available in all the other ways.
So if choosing one, then NXPR is better, EXPR is better.
Yeah, practicing EXPR is better.
Okay.
And sometimes for small operations, simple operations, like you can use this double brackets.
Double brackets, yeah, double brackets.
Yeah, B++, I don't think I've used with EXPR. That may or may not work. Yeah, one more thing. Just if you want to, there are some logics and syntaxes but not everywhere you will find the logic. So in the case of single bracket, so what this bracket does is, this bracket starts a new shell for evaluating whatever is inside.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the difference. Let me show you something related to this. Okay, so what okay, we'll see that after when we'll see eval and all those things.
Okay.
Yeah, so these are the operators, arithmetic operators that you can use. These are very simple operators that you would have used everywhere: plus, minus, multiplication. Okay, and less than, equal to, all these are arithmetic operations.
So,
And there are more.
Sir, can you take it one slide back? Yeah. In the last one, A is equals to B.
Yeah.
So you have explained like we use double equals when we are when we evaluate or we check for numerical values.
So these are for EXPR.
Oh, okay, for EXPR.
Yes, inside EXPR, how will you use? So EXPR is a program, right? Whatever you give right inside EXPR, those will be evaluated using the EXPR program.
Okay, so it has a different some kind of syntax or some kind of value.
Yes. Okay. So you have these single. Don't get you confused with single and double. So these are different than the one that we were discussing. These are the single or and single and operators. Okay, so these are straightforward. You can just rather me reading out, you can just refer them whenever you are programming something, and then you will learn them gradually. So here is this here doc feature. If you want, we can discuss this. So what happens in this is that if you want to give input to some command, okay, you can use this here doc feature. So what is special? What is the here doc feature in this example is that you have specified that until you encounter EOF, you have to execute all the lines below.
Until we hit the EOF, execute all the lines below. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Now, what is the difference between a hyphen and this? So here, if you have some leading tabs, those will be ignored. So you don't have to pay attention to tabs if you have introduced some space or tabs. Okay, in that case, given hyphen. Otherwise, the logic is same. Here also, it will run till ABC. Okay. Yeah, and BC is your bench, your bash calculator.
Bench calculator.
Yeah, bench calculator. Now, if else condition we have already discussed, and this is if else else if. So for else if you write elif. So this is fixed. How you have to write else if is elif, and you can give another condition. Okay. So this is how you do it. You can you may or you may not write this else at the end. This is optional. If, else if, and else at the last. But this one is optional. Yeah, go ahead. Somebody was asking. Yeah, Hemant.
Okay, so for here doc feature, can we use any symbol or name? Like we have used UF and ABC.
You can use in until that is a special character, then you may have to use escape sequence.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So now we were discussing about the case statement. What is the usefulness of case statement? So can all the if else if So we have some condition like this one. So can this condition be written with case necessarily always? Anybody, can anybody answer this?
Sir, in case we don't have range.
Okay, yeah, one thing. That means all if conditions cannot be converted to a case statement. Okay, so there are a lot of things you may want to use different variables. So suppose in this condition 1 you are checking that if x is greater than 2, in condition 2 you are checking y is greater than 2. So that's not desirable in those cases to use case. So this is to work on one variable and see if it is equal to either this value. Okay, so in this case statement, how it will be interpreted is, if the value of variable is equal to this option, this command will be executed. If it is equal to this option, then this command will be executed. If it is equal to this option also, then also this command will be executed. Either this or this command set 2 will be executed. And for any of the values equal to either op4, op5 or op6, when variable var is equal to either of these three, this condition will be executed. And if none of the value of var is none of these 6 values, 1 2 3 4 5 6, then this default condition will be executed. So this is how you specify default in case statement. Okay.
Okay.
OP1, sir, is a variable or just a string?
No, this is just a format. You can give anything here.
It can be a variable, or it can be a string, or it can be numeric value or something.
Yes, but the comparison will be string only.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So if you want to use C style for loop, you can use it using double brackets. Okay.
So, one second. You said the comparison will only be a string. So if I give 2 and compare 2 with 2.0.
Yeah, it should not be. I don't think it will give.
It will
You
give
can try
true.
that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, it won't be true.
Okay.
You can try that. Okay. Okay. So this is our C style for loop. Here you can use. You can specify a initial value of the value. So how for loops are executed, I don't know if you guys have. You guys know it. I will explain you a bit. So either it is a C, either you give it in a C style, or normally the way of execution of for loop or any loop would be very similar. Okay, so now this is the initial condition. Firstly, when as soon as it enters the for loop, what it will do, it will assign a equal to the value of begin. And what is the value of begin? That is 1. So what will a become here? A will be 1. Okay, so this statement, the first statement before semicolon, this is executed only once when you enter the for loop. After that, it will not be executed, even if the statements inside the for loop are executed 50 times, 100 times, infinite times. This statement will be executed only once. This is initialization, initial condition. Okay, and after that, this condition will be checked. A is less than 10. Okay, so 1 is less than 10. Yes, true. So what we'll do after checking this condition, okay, we will start executing the commands inside the for loop. Then we will print the value of a, that is 1. After this, where will we come? We will come to this. Okay.
It will add 1.
Yeah, it will add 1. Just give me a second, guys. So those who already know how things work in for loop, just bear with me, because there are people who don't have knowledge of any programming language at all. So this will help them if they don't know how a for loop is executed. Okay, so what was in our for loop? A is equal to dollar begin. Mhm. In the same problem, where do I get the pen back from? Okay, here it is. Begin equal to 1 and finish is equal to 10. Mhm. Okay, so how this for loop will be executed? So firstly, we will start from here. Okay, so now this is our A. So what will be the value of A initially? That is the value of begin. Okay, now after here we will go here. Now 1 is less than 10, right? So we will execute the command. After this, after executing, and this is the terminal output. What we have printed, guys? 1. Now what will be the value of, we'll execute this statement. What will be the value of A after executing this? Anybody?
It will be 2.
It will be 2, right? Because A++ means incrementing 1. So now value of A becomes 2. After this, where will we come? We'll check the condition again. Okay. What is the condition? 2 is less than 10. It is correct. Then we'll execute this again. This line will be executed again. So what will you print here?
2.
Value of A, that is 2. Okay. And after this, we will again go to increment. Okay. And then what will be the value of A here? In this case, we'll increment it by 1. So it will become 3. In this way, then again we'll check the condition. Okay. Then we will print 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And after printing 9, value of A becomes, so let's start from 8. So when A becomes 8, we print it. After that, we increment 1, and then we check 9, then increment 1. So what will 8 become? A will become 9. We check 9 is less than 10. Yes. Then after that, value of A is 9. We print 9. Okay. We have printed 9. And after that, we again go to a plus plus. And what will we do? We will increment the value of a to 10. Now we'll check the condition again. 10 is less than 10. Is this condition true?
False. No, it is not.
10 is less than 10. False. In this case, it will directly, when this becomes false, it will come out of this. Whatever lines are written here will be executed. Got it? This is how for loop is executed. So if you give initialization condition and this, so if there was only a condition, so suppose it was while, and the condition here is that $a is less than $finish. Okay, and inside while we have written somewhere that a plus plus. Okay, so it will keep on incrementing, and initially the value of a is 1 and finish is 5. In this case also these are the statements. So this case also, while it will be executed like this only. Yeah, like this. Okay, so what does this mean is that first you enter here and you check the condition. If a is less than 1 is less than 5, so here it is do and done. Let's do it like this. Okay, so what it will do, if a is less than finish, it will execute all this. After this, after executing all this, it will again go and check the condition. Until this condition is true, it will keep on executing all these statements. So this is how loops work. Okay,
How do we know where to use the double brackets?
double brackets for?
For the while statement, we didn't use the double brackets.
No, that was just an example. Don't go on the syntax. I was just telling you the example. Okay, there you will have to use the brackets. I didn't use that.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, now instead of one variable, you can even also use two variables in for loops. So if you want to check, but condition can only be one. Just remember that. Don't give two conditions with a comma here. So what if you want to check a is less than finish and b is less than finish? What will you use here? If you want to check both for a and b, both should be less than finish. What condition can be used here? Tell me.
And operator.
And operator. You can't write it like this. Okay.
Okay.
Why you can't write it like this? It's not because just because of syntax. So they have reason for all the things that they do. Okay. In this case, we can understand it very easily. Suppose if I write like this, what will suppose this conditions become true and this becomes false? What will the interpreter do? Will it consider this true or false? Should it enter this or not? When one of them is false and one of them is true, it doesn't make sense, right? It becomes ambiguous. What should be done? That's why you cannot use comma in condition. Either you have to use and, or if you want to use two conditions, then use and or. The condition can only be one. Okay, so these are statements. You can write more than two statements here, a plus plus b minus minus. Okay, you can write one more statement here. That's not a problem, because these are statements that will be executed as it is one by one. But this is a condition. Based on the value of this condition, based on the output of this condition, either true or false, we have to execute this. We have to or we don't have to, based on the return a value of this condition. Okay, that's why there will be only one condition. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you want to put all the output of a loop in some file, or you want to use it to write some or give it input to some other command, you can use the regular symbols that you use in your bash commands on your bash prompt after done. Okay. So what if I want to take the output of this for loop and run some awk script on it? Can I do that? Has anybody tried that? Okay, so just a simpler example. Just I want to print how many lines of output is in the for loop. Can I do that? Anybody?
We will use the redirect operator.
Redirect is already used.
Pipe symbol.
Okay, yes. So have you used that? Has
No,
anybody
sir.
used that? But you can do that. You should try all these things. So, okay. Now let's run this file new.sh where the output went in for output.sh.txt. So this was the output of new.sh while running new.sh. Instead of this, if I won't have given this, the output will be shown on the terminal. But even after this, if we see the output of this, don't get confused. This file is created from previous execution. So it will be there. We have not deleted it. Okay. Now what I wanted to show you is that you can also do this. Hey guys, am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes, 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 sir.
Hey, sorry guys. So there was a power cut here, and the phone connection was also got weak. Okay. Okay, I can't share the screen. I need the permission again. Let me ask for it. Okay, so what I was showing you guys is that you can use the operators as you use in your bash commands. Okay, in the for loop. Just let me ask for the permission. Just let me have that screen sharing option. Okay, I'm the co-host now. Okay, so can you guys see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
Okay, so this is the script that we wrote, right?
Yeah.
We changed it to this. Instead of file name, we used a pipe and the count of lines. Now let's run it. Okay, so it is giving the count of lines. So this can be done. Got it?
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, Ankur. It's Chandana Krishna here.
Hey Krishnan. So hey, thanks for joining. Actually,
Yeah. Are you
things are
taking it
fixed now.
forward?
Yeah, I'm taking it further.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Please continue.
Okay, guys.
I'm
So let's be a bit fast now. So now there's this break statement. What you use it for? So break is used for like terminating the loop as soon as it is executed. Okay, so if you use break inside a for loop without any condition, it will always run. So the our for loop doesn't make any sense in that case. Suppose you use a break here, what will happen? So this should print lines 1 to 9, right? What will this do? It won't print anything. Why? Because break is used unconditionally. It will always, as soon as we enter the loop, it will break. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
that's why
Okay.
here, if you can see, it is used inside a condition. Okay. So if you want to make use of break, always use it inside a condition and it will break the loop, not the if condition. Remember this. If condition doesn't need a break, it will loop out, it will break out of the loop.
Okay.
Okay, let's try this example here. Okay. is greater than 5. Okay. So this is the example. Similar example. We are doing it with. Okay. There's some. Yeah. Okay. So what will this do?
It will print number till 5, then it will break.
Yes, it will break after 5. Got it?
Yes.
So what if we make the condition is equal to 6, then also it will break. It is not that it is executing every time after 5 and it is breaking every time. It's not like that. Got it? It's not like it is breaking every time after. Instead of this, if you use EQ, then also it should work. So as soon as it becomes equal to 5, it breaks. Got it?
Okay.
Now, what if there's another condition that tells you, so these are called iterations. So first iteration A is equal to 1, second iteration A is equal to 2. Okay. If you use iteration doesn't mean just one command execution. Suppose if you write this, so there are 4 iterations of the for loop being executed. So every time hello is also executed. It's not just about one command. Iteration means all the command inside the loop, all the one execution, then the second conditional execution when second time conditions become true. Okay, so that means iteration. Now if you use continue instead of break, it will force the next iteration directly. Okay, so firstly I have commented the continue part. Let's first see without any condition what does it do. It will print start 1 end, start 2 end. For all 1 to 9 it will print start, number and end. Now yeah, so now what will this do? So whenever this is equal to 5, it will continue. That means what will be printed? Now tell me first, anybody. How many times start will be printed?
9 times. Start will be printed for 9 times, I think.
And end will be printed?
Or 8.
Yes. In this case, end will be printed 8 times, but start will be printed 9 times because start is before continue. Okay. So as soon as we enter the loop, condition becomes true, we'll print a start, then we'll check for this equal to 5 and we'll go to the next iteration. So what happens in case of continue is as soon as a becomes 5, all the statements below continue won't be executed and we'll go to the next iteration. Next iteration that is on the statement a plus plus. Just now I explained you how execution happens, right? So it will go to a plus plus. After continue, it will directly go to a plus plus. Consider an arrow here from continue to a plus plus to understand this.
Okay, it will directly skip that below part and
Yes.
go to the another iteration.
Yes. So 5 is not printed, but start is printed. You get it? Start
Yes.
is printed 2 after 4.
And then
So
start 6.
So this is how continue works. Okay. And you can have nested loops also. For inside for, while inside while. In case if you are using while inside while and if you want to break out of the outer loop, you can use a number to specify that. Break 2. This will break out outside of the for loop. Okay, just try this, students. We don't have a lot of time, otherwise I would have showed you. Just try this with break and with break 2, what happens, and try to understand this. This is a very good example, but try it without the number and with the number. Okay, there, and analyze why it is giving 2 different outputs. What happens when we break out of the inside loop and what happens when we break at this point from the directly outside outside loop. Okay.
Okay.
And continue we have already seen. What does continue do?
So continue will be work same as break. If we give 2, then it will break out of both of the loops.
It's not breaking out. It is forcing the
Okay.
next iteration. Try that. It
Okay,
is not
okay.
breaking.
Okay.
Okay. So if you use, so suppose you use break inside an infinite loop. Okay. You have a chance to break out if the condition becomes true. But if you use continue inside an infinite loop, will it terminate anytime?
No, no, no.
It will
because
never terminate.
It
So
will
there's
never
a
terminate.
difference.
Yeah.
There's a difference between break and continue. Understand that.
Okay.
Okay. So now what does the shift command do? Shift statement just shifts all the arguments to the left. So sir has already given an example and shown you that all the arguments, the command line arguments I'm talking about, $1, $2, $3, $4. Okay. So value of $2 becomes $1, $3 becomes $2, $4 becomes $3, and $1 is like it vanishes. You cannot access that. But $0 is special. It will remain same. That is the name of the script. Now this is the exec command. So to execute command in new shell, you can use this exec command. Okay. And pay attention on this condition. If new program is launched successfully, it will not return control to the shell. If your launch is successful, it will not return back to the original shell. Okay. But if it fails, only then it will return to the original shell. Now let's see an example for this. Okay. So what is this? What does this exec vi will do? What will exec vi do? It will open vi editor, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's run this script. It opens the vi editor. So now it is successful. Now when we close it, it should not return to the original shell, right? But it
Okay.
returned. What does this statement say? If new program is launched successfully, it will not return control to the shell, but it actually returned back, right? So why did this happen? Because when you run a script, either by bash or just directly // or some or any other way, it runs in a new shell. The script is run in a new shell. So if you directly do this exec vi, it will open the vi editor. Now see what will happen if I quit it. It exits from the terminal. Got it?
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So this statement is correct. Yeah. So this is about exec. Then eval is executed to like you can use a string to run it as a command using eval. Okay. So let's see an example. What is there? Yeah. So sir has shown you an example where he gives some command as a string value to a variable, and then when we use that variable with eval, that command will be executed. For example, let's do this. var is equal to echo hello. Now what will happen if I give $var? It prints the value of the variable. Now what will happen if I give this? It prints hello. It executes it as a command. Got it?
Okay. Okay.
So what sir was mentioning here, that don't use the arguments. So the thing that I have done here is this should not be done. That sir was mentioning. Don't use the command line arguments in eval. Why? Because then your script can be. So suppose you have written a common script that for some common purpose that everybody in your project can use. Now, for some purpose, you use the command line argument in eval. Now, what will happen? So let's run this first. Eval, and we'll use the same example. Echo hello. Okay.
Okay.
What did it do? It ran that whatever the first argument was, it ran it as an command.
Command.
Got it?
Hmm.
Now, why you should not use this variables, the command line with this? Now, suppose if I write this, what will it do?
It will remove the
Okay,
eval
so
dot half
it is
file.
doing something that you didn't intend it to do.
Yeah. Okay.
Now there's no script.
It remove the evals.
Yes.
Dot slash. Okay.
Got it?
So then what is the difference between dollars bracket sign to execute, which is also used to execute commands?
Which one? Double dollars,
Dollar
okay, dollar
bracket.
and bracket. There's no difference. You have another way to do that.
Okay.
But I don't think you can run your variable strings as a command using that. That's the difference. Okay. Eval is for evaluating the string as a command. And dollar bracket is writing the command there itself. Got it?
Okay.
So we'll try that.
Yeah. So this is the get opt. So I think this you guys would already be well aware of if you would have done the assignments, right? So this is just an extension to case statement and can be used to create your own commands with that accepts a lot of options. Okay, so in this case you can specify the options. So the options, by the options I mean these options, WC-L, this is an option. Okay, WC minus C, this is an option. So these options I'm talking about. So these options, either they may accept some value or they may not accept some value. So here minus B and minus C are accepting values, accepting arguments. Okay, the other options are not accepting arguments. And what do you want to print if there is no correct option specified? Then this is the same as default. So these commands will be executed if correct options are not specified. I don't want to give an example for this because you guys would have already used this in your assignment. So select loop is generally, this is a very old thing that people used to when the programs didn't have GUI. At that time, if you want to supply some menu, okay, for selection to the user, then at that time this was used. You can directly program this without select using a for loop or while loop. But in previous days, this was used extensively. That's why there is a new statement given for this. So what will this mean is that you can select values, any value from these values that you have specified. This is a list of values. Okay, this is a short way of writing values from 1 to 10. You can write n number of values here, different values. Okay, so what does this mean is that the user can select any value from these values and that will be stored in the variable I. Okay, and what will that do? After that, you can write a case. You have written a case statement here. What will it check? That if the value of I is selected from any of these three values, then do this. If it is from these three values, do this. If it is from these values, then do this. And this includes break actually. Okay, so only if these values, any of these values is selected, it will break. Otherwise, it will keep on continuing. You could have written a break at all three places. Then as soon as one selection is done, one valid selection is done, it will break out. It won't wait for another one. So it depends on how you write it. There's no fixed way, and it should not be a fixed way because it should be flexible. You should be the programmer should be able to program what he desires. He may want to break for any of these options. He may want to break for only these two options. Okay. So this is about select. Okay. So let's move on to awk. So awk is a like a scripting language that is for text processing, and mostly where each line has a different information, and there are a lot of columns that we call fields. So the data is structured in that way. Then we use awk. Okay. So awk can be simply used as a command also, or as a script also. So initially we discussed that like in this eval.sh, suppose you can directly specify here. I don't know the path for awk, otherwise I don't remember that, but you can specify what interpreter to use, and it doesn't matter the extension is .sh or .awk. You can run your awk script in any extension file. Just specify and the above, or just use awk command to run the file. Okay. Now what I was showing you is that let's have some file that have at least more than that has few lines. Yes, this one. So suppose we do this, and we write the awk command, and we do print no, not number of field nr, it is, yeah. Okay. So either awk can be used this way, or we can write the same thing in a file, and
So what does NR do?
yeah, we'll get to that. I'm not explaining you any awk scripts. I'm just telling you how you can run awk scripts two ways. Okay. NR is the number of records. We'll come to that. Script dot twk. Okay. So the same command I have executed as a script also, and as a single command. Yeah. So now let's go into the details of awk scripts. Okay. So like we in awk, we see the file as a set of records. Then by records, we mean line by line. And then in each line, we can have multiple fields. Now, how do we define fields? Like how the fields are separated? That depends on the separator, and we can define the separator. What separator needs to be used, either space or colon or comma. Okay, so there is a very widely used format, widely used in industry, that is the CSV format. That uses a similar kind of format where there is a separator and records are, each record is a each record is one line. And what you guys can try out is download any CSV file and try to import it in Google Sheets or in your Excel file or any type of Excel type kind of utility or program. So that accepts CSV files. You can export your data from Excel to CSV also and work through awk scripts. Okay, that if you do those things, you will find awk really useful. Okay, so back 5 years back, 10 years back, even the Google Sheets and Excel was not that powerful as it is now. So that time the awk was more useful. Now you can write conditional statements in Excel and Sheets, but previously it was not. But even then, if you want to do complete programming, you will have to switch to awk. So on any of your data, you can just convert it to export it to a CSV file, and you can do this. Okay. So we have already discussed this, how we can use awk scripts. Now there are built-in variables. Now somebody was asking what is NR. This is part of this slides. Okay, so these variables you can set as you want to use them. So the widely used ones are the field separator, FS. So the field separator is the one that I was talking about. How do you want to view your fields? Okay, so that depends on the field separator. So there's no fixed format for it. This depends on this all depends on your file and its usage. For example, so suppose first, second, third, okay. So, okay. So we will come to this separator later, because let's explain you the execution first, then we'll come to that example. Otherwise you won't understand what is begin block. And these are like built-in more built-in variables. You can specify output field separator also, record separator, and then how you will access the fields is that first field is $1, second field is $2, and so on. And if you want to like print the whole line, or if you want to work on whole line, use $0 for entire record. Okay, and $n means nth field in the current record, that is $1, $2, $3. So now there are 3 blocks in execution, 3 types of blocks. One is begin, one is end, and the third one is executed for each line. So either it can be filtered using a pattern, or without any filter, it will execute on each and every record. Okay, so firstly, begin block. So begin block will be run once, only once. That is kind of initialization. All the commands inside begin block will run once and first. Okay, you can have as many begin blocks as you want. All of them will be run one by one, but at the start. After that, these blocks, as you write these blocks in the same sequence, these blocks will be executed. Okay, command blocks. So this, if you write a block of this kind without any pattern before the curly braces, it will be executed for each record. If you write a command block in this way, it will be executed only for those records that match with this pattern. Okay, though that satisfy this pattern. So suppose you want to run run some commands only for those lines that starts with a digit. So you can specify that pattern here. You know how to specify a pattern when you studied graph, right? So you can write a pattern using a cap symbol that will give you the tell you that it should start. You should check from the starting, and then you can give a range of digits. Okay, so that will be a pattern for the example that I just mentioned. So these are the three kinds of blocks. Okay, begin, then command, then end. This is the sequence it will be executed in. Any doubt in this? Okay, so now let's see an example. What does a field separator actually means? So now this is the field separator value. So I have specified field separator as this, and I am printing this block will be executed for every line, for every record. Got it? So that is print $1. Now tell me, what will this print? Anybody?
First.
First field definitely, but what will this print? I want the output.
Yeah, like it will print the word first.
It will print the word first, right? Okay. What will this print? It will print the word second, comma, colon third, and comma also will be included. Okay. Only space will not be included. Got it? And third field will be fourth and fifth. Suppose I change this to colon. What will this print?
All the part first and space and second. It will print.
Yes, it will print first, space second, because this is first field, and if we separate it using colon, this is first field, this is second field, and this is third field, because there are two columns here. That's why there are three fields here. There's no fourth field. Okay. So what if I use comma here? There's only one comma, so there will be only two fields. One is this, and the second field will be space, fourth colon, fifth.
Colon and fifth. Yeah.
Yeah, space will also be included. Pay attention on this. Space will be a part of second field. Got it?
Okay.
Okay, so this is how it behaves. Got it? So
Yes, sir.
yeah, this is field separator thing. And now let's see the pattern thing. Suppose, let's keep it very easy now. We have already understood. We know that the separator is space. So how many fields will be there? 1 to 5th. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do one thing.
Sir,
Yeah.
can we use $0 in the previous example?
Yes, just a second. Anywhere you use with the field separator, it will print the same thing. Doesn't matter. Which one do you want to use it?
And
This one?
yeah.
Whatever you use here, it doesn't matter. In case of $0, it will print everything. Because there is only one record here. Pay attention to this. This is only one record. There is no slash n here. I was just showing the fields. Okay.
Okay.
Should I clear this?
Yeah, yeah.
Wait. Could you please cat that file?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's why I cleared it. This file, right?
Yes.
Just a second. Does it have more than? Yes, actually. Yeah, so it has 4 records now. Okay, and let's do one thing now. Let's use our awk script. To run on this file, and the field separator we'll use it as this, and $0 it will print the whole file. Okay, now what we want to do is print this will print the first field in at each record. Now suppose what I wanted to show you was this pattern thing.
$0 is because it is for file length.
No, it is for record. $0 is
So
for
print-
each complete line. So it
So
will
when we did
$0
print
will
$0, it printed the whole file.
no,
kind
it
of.
printed the whole line. For each record, this line is executed. Begin block is executed once, but this block will be executed for each line.
Okay.
Got it? So you can do it like this. If number of record is equal to 3, what will this do? It will print only the third line, first column of third line. So print $0 will do third line. It doesn't mean complete file. Got it? Yeah. So what I was showing you guys.
So,
Yeah.
like, I didn't get that line. Like, if NR is equal to 3, print $1.
NR means number of record.
So, number of records are here.
Number of record file executing. NR is the value that increments for every line. For first line, NR will be equal to 1. For second line, NR will be equal to 3.
So it's saying that when you reach the third row, print the $1.
Third line. Yeah, third row, you can say.
Yeah.
Print the complete line. Okay.
So NR means current record, no? Current number of the record.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you use NR in AND, it will always end block will always be executed at the last, right? In the end block, if you print NR, it will always be executed. What is it? Yes, sorry. So end block will always be executed at the end. So whatever you write, you may not write anything here. It doesn't matter. You print here anything, print $0, $1, doesn't matter. And will be always at the last. So if you print the value of NR at the last, it will always print the total number of records. Okay. You can use and singly also. So what is this command equivalent to? Can anybody tell me?
WC minus N.
WC. Word count.
Okay, at least some people are paying attention on the assignments and not copying. Good. Okay, so yeah. So back to what I wanted to demonstrate is the block. Let that concept come, then yes, so it is here. Next, it's next only. So suppose we want to execute it for all the digits only. Okay, can anybody tell me what why is this printing only the 2 lines?
Starting with
printing
number.
all. Yes. So I have given a pattern. In the second last command, I have given a pattern that if the line starts with a digit, not with a number actually, with a digit. Okay, got it? So even if I so here, even if I have added F4, you are ahead of 4, this will print that line also, because this means, this pattern means starting, the starting of the line should be a digit. Got it, guys? So these
Yeah.
are the kind of 3 blocks only. So so there are 3 kind of blocks. One is begin, one is command block, and one is end block. Command block is executed for either for all the matching ones, for all the lines that satisfy the condition. Here we have given a regular expression. If we don't give any condition, then it will be executed for each and every line, and the end block is executed at the end when these 2 blocks finish execution. Got it? So this is very simple. And inside command block, begin block or end block, you can use if condition, for loops, and the if condition, for loops in this awk are very similar to our other languages, programming languages. So this would be easier for those who know some programming language. Okay, and just one information for you guys. I didn't want to discuss this, post this in discourse. That we will be giving a cheat sheet kind of thing in the Proctor programming exam that will that will have the syntax for bash, awk, and set, so that you guys don't have to refer anything, and anyways you can't refer anything. Okay, so we will give you that, but not in the quiz, so don't get confused. That's why we didn't post this on the discourse before quiz. Otherwise some students will just script that no cheat sheet was given in quiz, because there's no need for the cheat sheet in reference material, I should say. That is not a cheat sheet, that will be a reference material. Okay,
Okay. So
So like, can we get the cheat sheet? Like, how will it look like?
no, you don't need that. That is simple reference material. How to use if that will just be a collection of parts of these slides.
Yeah, I mean, if
useful
before
parts.
the online exam itself, if it can be shared,
Yeah,
then
that
one
can be done,
enjoy
but
it.
not before quiz. We won't do that before quiz, because we know you guys are focused on quiz 2. After quiz 2 we will share that. That can be done. Your yeah, your request is taken, we can do that. I'll discuss with the team and send you. Okay, so yeah, so these are the assignment operators, logical operators, algebraic operators, and relational operators that you can use. Okay, so in case of algebraic operations, this is not same as what we use in the cap symbol is not same as what we use in our regular expression. Here it means power. Okay, yeah, so now you have other operators also. You can use conditional expression using expr, and you can use arrays also here. And try one of the uh, assignment questions where we have given something to use as array. So in if you guys know about dictionary in Python, so arrays actually are dictionaries in awk. Okay, so who doesn't understand this, or he or she is facing issues with using arrays, just go and uh, check the assignments and try to do it yourself again, then you will understand that. Okay, and so these are similar operators, you can directly use them. So like if you want to compare some value of some string with regex, not just a string, instead of a you can use some field also. If the second field is matching this regular expression, you can use that in if condition. Okay, in your awk script. Okay, so these are all straightforward things. If you have done similar things, if you understand the use of function in bash, or any other programming language, you will understand what is the use of a function in awk. So this is all just a different syntax that that is being discussed in these slides. Okay. So for all these things can be done in every programming language. Here it is just a different syntax that is being discussed here. So this is what I was mentioning about. We call it associative arrays here, but it is very similar to dictionary. Okay. So it's not a contiguous memory allocation kind of thing in C arrays. So these are not equivalent to C arrays. Is in awk. Don't get confused. Try these and you will understand that. Okay. This is the way loops and conditional statements can be used. This is much more simpler and less restrictive in terms of space, use of space, and not you may or you may not use spaces here. It's not like bash that strictly you don't have to use any of, you can't add any space while assigning the variables and all those. So in terms of interpreter, the interpreter of awk is much more better than bash interpreter. Okay guys, so the syntax wise this will be simpler than bash. You have to use the function keyword to define a function, and similarly what sir has shown, you can store your functions in some other file, and you can use that in your awk script. So pretty printing, this is the same thing that I was talking about in bash also, that you can use C style printf, and you can have modifiers here to control your like how the output is being printed. You can even control what type of value it is printed, not just that, till how many decimals after the dot, after the point, decimal point, and you want the digits to be printed. All those things can also be controlled. Okay. And bash plus awk, so this is very this you don't need to think of it as a some special thing. So if you can write and execute this command here, okay, so you can write and execute this command in any of your bash scripts. Am I right or not? Are you guys getting what I'm saying? So if you can write and run this command on your bash prompt, you can write and run this command in any of your script also. Okay, so that way what you are doing, using awk in your bash. Just try this. It's working, right? First this line was this command was executed, and then this was executed. As simple as that. Okay, so the other thing is that if you want to run your awk script from bash script, that can also be done. So we have this sc.awk. Okay, so for it will print only the third line. So what does sc.awk does? It prints the third line. Let's use that here. sc.awk, and what is the file? Input, I think. Okay, input. What is the third line of input? This is being printed. Okay, so this is just, these are just very simple examples, but what this means is that from your bash script you can invoke on awk script, you can invoke anything. that can be run on this command line, that can be run in bash script. You can run a Python program from inside bash script, and that is what bash scripts are generally used for actually. Okay, for testing purposes in industry, and bash is used a lot actually. So if somebody says you that bash scripts and Linux is not used in industry, either they have not worked a lot, they have not spent a lot of years in the industry, or they have just spent a lot of years in a single field, a very restricted field where they didn't use Linux. Okay. Yeah, so this is about awk, and I would say that SED is much easier than these two, and the SED scripts are very straightforward. Like SED is used for text processing and mostly for replacing something, and for processing the data mostly awk is used. Okay. And here you can it is the same way. Either you can use SED as a command, just now what we have seen in for awk. Either you can use it as a command directly on the command as a bash command, or you can write a script, save it as a file, and run it using the similar syntax SED and with the similar options. Okay. Okay, here is the path. So this is what I was saying. You can use this as your first line of the script, and then when you run it without any program, the shell will know what interpreter, what command to use to run the script. Okay, guys. Yeah. So the SED statement has a format, and this is the format for it. And first you give the label, then you give the address pattern, then what action you would want to perform on all the matches. Okay, and what are the options then? So like there can be options. One example of option is case sensitive, case insensitive, if you guys remember from the assignments and lectures. Now if you want to run multiple commands, you can either write them in a single line using semicolons, one command after another, and all commands will be executed in the same sequence, or you can write one in each line in a script in a file and run it as a SED script. So we have given only one SED script question in the assignments. Okay, but that should be sufficient, and you should really do it yourself. You would know how to write a SED script. That will help you in your programming exam. Okay, now you can specify the address space, the address pattern space by giving a pattern, or by giving a special character that will specify for what lines you want to execute. Okay, if you want to replace in only in the so what generally you guys do with SED, either you add some text to the file, you replace some, you delete some text. Okay, and it's not just deleting the whole line or inserting a whole line. Okay, you want to do something that is not very, that is a bit complex, that can be very easily done using the SED. So you want to do only in the last line, that can be done using dollar. You want to do in the first line, that can be done. You want to do at the end of the line, that can be done. You want to do before a line, that can be done. After a line, that can be done. You want to do only for those lines that matches this regular expression, that can be done. Okay, and you want to specify a range of lines between lines 5 to 15 and matching this regular expression, that can also be done. Okay, so this is how you can combine you can also combine these address actions, sorry, address like patterns. Now these are the actions that you want to perform. So this is the whole gist of what you will say the commands of set. Okay, you can call them as commands of set. So P is to print, then D is to delete, S is to substitute, and practice S as much as you can. This is very similar to what we would have practiced with VI editor.
This
Okay,
came from add, na?
this came from
Add, the line
add
editor.
Yes.
Yeah.
What does G in the last mean?
It means global. There, if you would have done assignments, you will know that we have given questions where we wanted you to replace only in this line, only in that line. Okay. So
Yes.
actually G is for globally. It means this means actually not just the first instance. Okay, I will tell you
Like
the
double
use of-
hash.
I don't know what you're talking about double hash where, but if you give a 1 year, so it means the first instance. If you give 2, then it means the second instance, like that. G means all the instances. So suppose there is if you want to replace A with capital A, okay,
At all places. Correct.
at all places in the line. In one line, if you want to replace all the A's with capital A, you will use G. If you want to replace only the first A with capital A, then you won't use G. Okay, got it? Let's try something. For this G may not be easy to understand, that's why. Okay, so which A is replaced? Only the first one. Got it?
Yeah.
Let me try one thing, then I won't have to open a file. Okay, so this is printing 2 lines, right? 2 records are there means. Okay, so in both the lines, it has replaced the first A. Can you see that?
Yes.
What if I do G? It has replaced all the A's in both the lines. Now it has replaced only the second A. Got it?
Yes. Thank you.
Something also, there's something we can use here. Yeah. Okay, so NR equal to is same as NR. Okay, and to add comments in your script, you can use hash. I is the command for insert, A is for append. I is for insert before the line, A is to insert after the line. Okay, and C is to change the current line. Okay, so what else are we left with? Not much, including set inside cell script, doc feature used with others. Yeah, so these are some more things that you can try. So if you use Q somewhere in the script, it will just exit when that condition satisfied and Q is encountered. It will just exit processing any further set commands. Okay. So we can discuss any more examples or any queries if you guys have with any of these three. And
So
just
in
one
the
more.
address part,
Yeah.
in range 1, this tilde 2 means.
This tilde, I think it means
Hopping.
no, it doesn't. It specifies the range. Tilde means range from 1 to 3. And if you mention 1, 3, it is like first and third. You can just try here.
So that is every second line.
Okay. Oh my God. Let's do one thing. Otherwise, we won't know what happened. Okay. So this is the line, and we'll use this set. 1 colon. Got it? First, and what happened actually here?
So 1, 3 is 1, 2, 3.
Yes, 1, 3 is from first to 3.
And 1 tilde 3 is stepping.
Yes, so tilde is stepping actually. Yes, got it. So in the that just slipped off my mind. In the last assignment, you will have to use this tilde. If you do the last graded assignment, where every 10th line you have to insert hashes, right? If somebody has done that assignment. So tilde is stepping. Stepping means you start with this line number 2. Then after every second line, it means. And after start with line number 2, and after every then after every third line you have to do this. Okay. So this is what tilde means. Let's try this and you will understand what tilde is. Okay, it just slipped off my mind. Okay, let's use tilde here. This. Okay. Okay, so this is the first line. Then after you start with line number 1, then third line, first, second, third. You start with line number 1, and then after every second line, first, second. Okay, so this is stepping. So if you add more here, fourth, see, after every second line it is doing. And in this case, when you use 3 here, there are not so many lines to do it second time, so it didn't do 1, then first, second, third, then first, second, third. It would have done in 7th line. So this is the difference between tilde and comma. Got it?
Okay, yes.
So what is the percentage symbol in selecting by numbers?
Just a second, let me try it. I have forgotten all this.
You select the whole part.
No, it's not used like this here. Anybody knows this? I don't remember that.
In add, it was for the whole part, the whole file, I think. But here I don't know.
Okay. Okay, just a second. Yeah, any other doubt? And then I will look and tell you.
So what about Git?
What about?
GitHub and like.
So, yeah.
Like, will there be questions from?
Yes, there can be questions from anything in the like in weeks 1 to 7, and just
week 8 will be there in quiz 2.
Which one? Git.
Week 8.
Week 8 won't be there. So there was some confusion because of some calendar that is also corrected. I think yesterday I discussed with the operational team. They have corrected that calendar also, right? In the notification, it was sent correctly that syllabus will be weeks 1 to 7.
Thank you.
So read the logical topics. So the professor wants to focus on logical things more. So everything. So you guys don't need to worry about memorizing a lot of things. But if you would have practiced something, basic things would anyways get memorized, right? So that is expected. Other than that, we don't expect you to memorize each and every option. So if there is some option that is being expected from you to use, and that is not a very common thing, then we'll mention that in the question.
So will you revise GitHub?
What?
So will you revise GitHub today?
Actually, we are already late, and that is very simple. I think in Git, I will tell you very simply what. Firstly, tell me what you understand by Git. There are no slides. I don't think so. There are any slides. But I've used Git extensively. I can explain you right away. So tell me, what do you understand by Git?
It's sort of an environment where you can share files, collaborate, and code. You can.
Yes, for what?
So that code can be in one place.
Yes, first thing.
And or like other developers can view the code, share it there and edit it. So
Kind of a file located in OneDrive and having access by certain people, and anyone can contribute to that file, and as and when some changes are made, then that is also reflected in that file.
That's called version control.
Yes.
So through Git we do that.
Okay. So you guys are all right. So the thing is, Git is used for is in projects where more than multiple people are working on the same project, and it's not just about one file. There are multiple files being shared between a lot of people, and what happens is that now you would say that there are Google Sheet and all these things. We don't need to merge. We don't need to check out. We don't need to have a local copy. We can directly go, and many people can edit that, right? Why can't we do that in programming? Okay. Does anybody has this doubt? Why can't we do that in programming? Like in Google Sheets or Google Docs, you can share the document and a lot of people can edit that, right? In the real time. Now why can't we do this in programming is because programming is not that simple. You don't know what line to what code to add. You don't know if that will work. Thirdly, after that you will have to test also. Okay, so suppose myself and somebody from you is working on the same file, and we want to change something and add some feature to a software, and we want to change in the same file for that feature. There are about thousands of files, but there is one single file that we both are interested in, and we are currently working on that file. Now it's not that I have changed one line of code and it will work and we are done. I have to change hundreds of lines, and that too I'm not sure my first solution will work or not. So what I will do is, so in Git, I will first check out a local copy of the entire code. Okay, either entire code, or if it is modularized, entire module. Okay, so just consider for sake of simplicity that I will check out the and clone a local copy of the entire code on my machine, and after that what I will do, I will do my changes. Okay, after I have done the changes in the file, I have to use git add command to specify to Git that these Git knows about what files you changed. Okay, but suppose you have changed something and you don't want to add that to the changes to the final repository. So you will just use git add command and give the file names that you want to those changes that you want to specify, like merge it to the original uh, code. Now why do you want to do that you want to merge only few changes, not all changes? So there are some changes that you would have done just to test your changes in other files. Those are not required at the end to be merged to the final project. Hey, there's no response. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
So in those cases, suppose you have made some changes so for example, there is some website that you are changing the code for, you are adding some feature, and you have hard coded some values that the user enters. So in that file you have changed the data of user that comes from some other server. Instead of reading the data from that server, you have changed that file to read some local data just for testing. So that changes you don't want to add and merge to the final copy, right? So that's why what you will do is only those changes, those are relevant to this feature, you will use git add command to add those files to the changes. Okay, after you have added those files and told git that these are the files I am interested in changing in the final branch, what you will do from your branch, you will do a commit. So that commit, what it will do is it will commit the changes. Okay, and what after commit, what will you do? You will push those changes to the remote branch. Till now the original branch is as it is, you have not changed anything into the original branch. You checked out a local copy of that branch, you changed some files, you added the relevant files, and you committed. After committing, you have to push the changes. That pushing, what will it do? It will add those changes and add your branch a remote copy of your branch. Okay, so now your branch has some changes. Okay, so there is a diff that will tell you what is the difference between the original branch and your branch. So after pushing, you will have to do a merge. So when you do the merge from your branch to the original branch where you want to take your changes to, that time there can be conflicts. Why there can be conflicts? So because 3 days back I copied the code from original branch. After that, the file that I am making changes to, somebody changed in that file. Okay, somebody made changes in that file. Now what happens is that it is not able to resolve those. So these conflicts can be resolved manually, or if you are not able to resolve the conflicts, those are too many, then you may want to check out the latest copy of the branch, and you may want to do the changes again. But that is generally not done. You can resolve the conflicts if you know the code. So this is what the procedure of git is. Now this is when you already have the branch and you already have the repository created. So if you don't have the repository created initially, what you will have to do is get init and you have to create a repository. So that's the only thing that we didn't discuss. And that is generally what an administrator repository admin will do. Other than that, there are a lot of other commands also, like but for you, this is okay. This much is enough to understand whatever sir has discussed in lectures. There is history command also. There is you can revert your changes. You can take your local branch to some old commit. by commit numbers. Okay. So these all, there are a lot of other options as well. So is this clear about Git? Any doubts?
No, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So who was that asking? I think some girl was asking.
Yes, sir. Like got it.
Okay. Okay. Any other doubts?
So is this enough what you taught today, like for quiz?
Not at all. This is a revision course. If studying 2 hours would have been enough for getting clearing like this quiz, then this subject is very easy, right? You should not be given any credits for this. Am I right?
Perfect.
What I will tell you what is enough. Watching all the lectures and practicing all the assignments and graded and practice assignments yourself. That's enough. Got it?
Sir, do we need to practice all editors or like some we
Just now
have?
in the starting, I think you may have joined late. It's the same thing that we did in assignments, either VI or Emacs. That's
Okay.
it.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Same as
So
assignments.
if the question is based on say VI, so will it be like both the options for VI or Emac given in the
There will
question?
be 2 questions for you. You can solve either one of them.
Oh,
Either Emacs question or VI question. Okay.
thank you.
Sir, can we do a mix also?
It's up to you. It depends on the, if you know some parts and some parts not. You can be clever there. Because we are restricted with the portal, like whatever TCS has offered us, like, okay, so based on that you can be clever if you know both the editors, some part of both the editors. But if you just know one editor, you will definitely be able to answer the question. Okay, any other doubts? So if there are any doubts regarding programming exam also, you can just ask, not just technically, just any operational doubt also if you have. Okay, so regarding the use of percentage, I'm sorry, I could not cover that. So whoever asked that, can you please post a question on Discourse?
Okay, sir.
Okay then. Okay, so that's it for today. If there are no doubts, I would like to close this session.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks everybody.
Thank you,
Happy
sir.
learning. Yeah, thanks for joining. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.